This is Josh Friedman kicking off a Western Balkan trip in Sofia, Bulgaria. Now, you might ask, why am I beginning a Western Balkans trip in Sofia, Bulgaria, being that Bulgaria is in the Eastern Balkans? Well, we're going to delve right into that right now. Behind me is the National Palace of Culture, or Ndika as it is known in Bulgaria. And you might notice that right now there are some blue and yellow banners on the Palace of Culture behind me, and those are what are symbolizing the 2018 Bulgarian European Council presidency. For the first 6 months of 2018, Bulgaria holds the rotating EU presidency, and Bulgaria has took it upon itself to make Western Balkan integration into the EU the core issue of its presidency. And coming up in about a month and a half, on May 17th and 18th, there will be a summit taking place in the building behind me. It's going to be the European Union Western Balkan Summit, which is supposed to be the biggest EU Western Balkan Summit, or Western Balkan Summit for that matter, in 15 years. And, well, it's not exactly unfolding without controversy. So right now, 27 of the 28 EU member states are scheduled, or are saying or indicating that they will be in attendance at this summit next month right here. The 28th EU state is Spain, and Spain is right now threatening not to attend. Spain has not yet indicated whether or not they will be attending this summit, and that's because of Spain's stance on Kosovo. Right now, Spain is handling or dealing with its own secession issue, that being the Catalan independence movement, which I was covering a couple months back from Barcelona, which, by the way, I will be heading back to Barcelona in less than a month. Well, anyway, Spain objects to the EU putting Kosovo in the status of being a potential member of the European Union, as Spain does not recognize Kosovo's independence. And for that matter, it's one of 5 EU countries that do not recognize Kosovo's independence. The other 4 being Cyprus, Romania, Greece, and Slovakia. Now, those 4 states, at least as we hear now, are expected to be attending this Western Balkan Summit next month, although they likewise do not formally recognize Kosovo, and this is creating problems for a number of reasons. There's actually been a lot of action in Kosovo lately, and I will be heading to Kosovo very shortly as part of this Western Balkan trip that I'm embarking upon, and we'll be delving a lot more into what's been taking place in Kosovo over the past few months, over the span of this trip that I'll be on. But so the issues resolving or that are surrounding this summit that's coming up here all really have to do with Kosovo. So on the one hand, there's Spain and possibly other EU states that object to the inclusion of Kosovo in the summit. And then on the other hand, there's Serbia, of course, the country from which Kosovo seceded, and there's the ongoing dispute between Serbia and Kosovo, or Belgrade and Pristina, over what's going to happen with Kosovo, whether Serbia will actually recognize Kosovo, and many more issues than that. And Belgrade and Pristina are engaged in dialogue, and that dialogue is supposed to be heating up over the next couple weeks, which comes at an interesting time because there have been some major issues between the two sides in recent weeks, which, like I said, I will be delving into over the course of this trip that I'm embarking upon. So where things stand right now with the summit that's coming up, and that's supposed to be something like the crowning achievement of the Bulgarian EU presidency. We'll see if anything significant comes out of it. One would not be far-fetched to venture to guess that no major breakthroughs are going to come out of this summit, but nonetheless, it's an opportunity for Bulgaria to showcase that it is a significant contributing member to the European Union, and it's kind of what Sofia's been trying to show over the past several months. Just late last month, Bulgaria hosted a meeting between Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and top EU officials. That was in Varna over on the Black Sea coast. So Bulgaria's trying to give the impression that it really is holding a significant position here, as it is the president of the European Council and effectively the EU president for this 6-month period, and the Western Balkans is at the forefront of that. So I will be departing very shortly for, I'm not going to say just yet because I haven't quite made up my mind, but quite possibly I will be in Kosovo in the coming days, if not week or week and a half time frame. I think what I was missing on before, as I'll also preview, that I will be heading to both Belgrade and possibly elsewhere in Serbia as well, most definitely Belgrade. And what I was hinting at before is that Belgrade objects to to Kosovo being given a status that is equal to the other 5 Western Balkan states that are all aspiring to join the European Union. So there's the dispute on one hand about the actual EU giving some sort of status to Kosovo, and on the other hand there's the dispute about to what extent Kosovo will be included in the group of Western Balkan states that basically have a day unto themselves at this event, which their day will be May 18th. I believe the second day of the summit will be focused primarily on them as opposed to the EU member states making decisions here. And so how is the EU handling this? Well, the EU, I guess in classic EU form, has got stacks of documents full of diplomatic speak, and the EU basically handles the Kosovo issue with an asterisk. On the Western Balkan Summit preview, it's got an asterisk that's stating that the summit does not indicate that the EU is giving any sort of status to Kosovo. They like to use the term status neutral, which you can basically say the EU has yet to make a decision on whether to formally recognize Kosovo or not, and they're still deferring to a couple international decisions and rulings, one being the 1999 United Nations Declaration on Kosovo, which basically made Kosovo a temporary UN protectorate, or they set up a temporary UN administration there, which it's gone now, being that Kosovo declared independence in 2008. And then the other document that the EU references is, I believe, the International Court of Justice opinion on Kosovo's declaration of independence. So right now there's all kinds of diplomatic speak, no clear understanding of Kosovo's relation with the European Union, and a lot of that is going to boil down to stuff that I'll probably be discussing more over the coming weeks. But the EU is saying to these Western Balkan states, you can join in 10 years or more, or something like that, when you fulfill all our criteria. And part of our criteria is working out your own internal issues, your border disputes, your territorial disputes with one another. The EU doesn't want to import those like it actually has with Croatia and Slovenia. So much of this whole European integration process of the Western Balkans is really going to come down to what happens with Kosovo. Does Serbia recognize Kosovo or not? Is the EU going to force Serbia to recognize Kosovo in order to join the EU? These are all questions that remain unanswered. We'll try to get some answers to them May 17th and 18th in this building behind me, but I don't think there's going to be very much definitive coming out of that meeting, but we shall see. So enough for now from Bulgaria and the Eastern Balkans, albeit Sofia is kind of right in the middle of the Balkans. I think it's time now to head to the Western Balkans, and I will pick up this trip from there. So I look forward to seeing you and reporting to you from destinations in the Western Balkans, and we shall see where I end up. Goodbye for now from Sofia, Bulgaria.